Hello, everyone. It is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting video. I had no idea that this was going to be coming out today. DC Future State. Apparently, we're going to get a glimpse of the future of the DC universe. This is huge news. It essentially just looks like DC 5G. A while ago, they were talking about how they were going to do DC 5G. All the DC superheroes were going to get older, and we're going to see a new generation of heroes take their place. But then Dan DiDio stopped being the main publisher at DC Comics, and when he left, it seemed like they essentially were flushing their plans for DC 5G down the toilet. So it seemed like we weren't going to get DC 5G anymore. But this looks like what DC 5G was described to be. It's just they're calling it something different. Why aren't they calling it 5G? I don't know. They're calling it DC Future State. Sure. Good enough for me. I'm just excited to dive right in. I've looked at none of this. I started up a YouTube video done by Beyond the Trailer where she was talking about it, and I stopped it before she went into any detail. The only things that I know are that Red X is in it, Red X from the Teen Titans animated series, and there's now a Brazilian Wonder Woman. And of course, I've seen this image that you guys are seeing here. Let me scroll down. That appears to show like a Kingdom Come, like older Superman. Wonder Woman doesn't look that different. She doesn't look that different at all. You have this guy, looks like a Superboy character, but then there's another Superboy character in that same image. And I imagine as we read through the article, it'll explain everything. But if I had to guess, I would say this is probably Superman's son, John. Like, this is, like, Superman's, like, actual son. And then I think this Superboy is Connor Kent Superboy. So I think that's, like, the clone Superboy. Let's see. You got Catwoman. You got Batman. I think this is OG Batman. I think this is OG Catwoman. You got Harley Quinn. I'm pretty sure that's just normal Harley Quinn. There's this fat guy with a weird L on his chest. I can't tell if that's going to be like Lex Luthor or if that's like Bouncing Boy of the Legion of Superheroes. I think it's supposed to be Lex Luthor. I don't know why he's so fat. There's this weird guy on stilts. I don't know who that is. Pretty sure this is Swamp Thing. That looks like Zatanna, but it could be like some new, younger Zatanna or something. I'm not sure. There's Grifter. That's just straight up just Grifter from Youngblood or whatever. No, not Youngblood. Grifter from Wildcats. My bad. I got my Image Comics confused. And then this side's supposed to be like the new people. So I don't know who the new people are. But I think we're about to find out. Also, there are like 26 images here. So there's like a whole bunch of stuff to look at. So you got the next Batman, which I guess is what they're calling like this new Batman series. You got Dark Detective, which might be about like Batman now that he's older. Because I think this whole story is supposed to be like this is the future of the DC universe kind of thing. Also, I set this music to loop, but it didn't loop. So it looks like Dark Detective might be about like current Batman but in the future, and I think the next Batman is about like the future Batman. We're gonna get a Batman Superman book. Again, I think this might be like the OG Batman and Superman fighting crime, but in the future. I think this is OG Catwoman, but I could be wrong. This could be like a new, younger Catwoman. Also, look at that city. I know that this is supposed to be like the future of the DC universe, but is it literally like ultra futuristic? I kind of thought they were just going to age all the characters up, but it'd just be the modern day. I actually wouldn't mind that, even though that sounds like it would be kind of jarring. These are characters who haven't aged very much out of like the 80 years they've existed. So if they suddenly were aged up, if anything, I'd feel like that would just be more accurate to how old they should be. But if they're going to do like a time jump to age them up, I think that's rather interesting. I'm curious what year Future Slate's supposed to take place in, if not like 2020. Like, is it supposed to be like 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future, 20 years in the future? Like, how far off is all this? So, Catwoman's getting a book. Harley Quinn's getting a book, which is pretty obvious. I don't think this is like a new, younger Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn's already young, so I think this is just normal Harley Quinn. Nightwing's getting a book. And again, I don't think it's like a new, younger Nightwing. I'm noticing a lot of robots and like drones and stuff like that. There's going to be a Robin Eternal series also. I just have to say, I love this art. I don't know who drew this cover, but I'm a sucker for like photorealistic looking paintings. If the internal art looks anything like this cover art, I gotta read that. I definitely vibe. Superman of Metropolis. So this is interesting. Earlier I was talking about how, oh, this character Superboy and this character Superboy. But you gotta remember, this is Future State. I think I've been saying Future Slate for some reason. This is Future State. So I guess all the characters where you would have been like, well, that's Superboy. Maybe they're all just called Superman. So this looks like one of the Superboys becoming like Superman and having their own book as Superman of Metropolis. The angle of which this like cover image is taken, where he's like holding the bottled city of Kandor. Oh, actually, that's not the bottled city of Kandor. He's holding Metropolis, but as a bottled city. That's pretty interesting. I'm curious which, like, Superman this is. I think this is Superman as in Superman's son, John, taking on the role of Superman. That's what he looks like, and he doesn't have a cape. I'm thinking this is John and not Connor, but we'll see. We got Superman Worlds of War. I have no idea what this is, where he has, like, these big chains. It looks like he's been like imprisoned on like Apocalypse or something. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that at all. But that seems interesting. Cover art is very striking. Like, is it supposed to be a series about like where Superman is in this future world? Maybe the reason why there are like new Supermen is because current Superman is literally just trapped on Apocalypse. I think that would be actually rather fascinating. Notice that the S symbol on his chest is indicative of Kingdom Come, which makes sense because we're doing like this time shift forward. It's been 7 minutes. I haven't even looked at the article yet. I'm still looking at all these covers. Now this Wonder Woman cover is interesting. So this is called Immortal Wonder Woman. I think this is OG Wonder Woman. Notice she's wearing a Batman utility belt on this cover image. Is that like a normal part of her like armory now, like of her like outfit set? Like, does this Wonder Woman have Batman gadgets? I think that's an interesting concept. It sounds kind of weird though. We have Kara Zor-El Superwoman. So it looks like we're gonna get to see Supergirl finally become Superwoman, which makes sense. This is Future State. So is Future State gonna have like 2 Supermen and 1 Superwoman? And I mean, I guess technically it's gonna have 3 Supermen, because it's not like the normal Superman is dead or anything. So it's like 3 Supermen, a Superwoman, 2 Wonder Womans, 2 Batmen. It's interesting that they're like, the older characters are literally just older. They're not like dead or anything, because you end up with a universe where you just have like multiple duplicate characters. So I'm curious how they're gonna deal with that. It seems like they're going to deal with the Superman issue by just saying Superman's like on Apocalypse and he's trying to escape Apocalypse. Meanwhile, like John has to take care of Metropolis and Supergirl's going to be doing whatever she's dealing with. I don't know, but this seems interesting. Next up, we got Legion of Superheroes. So that guy in the front, that probably is Bouncing Boy or whatever. He's big and fat looking. He had the big Legion L on his chest. So all these characters are Legion of Superhero characters? That's interesting, I guess. That's not what I would have expected. Their designs look very villainous. for them to be Legion of Superheroes. Maybe that is supposed to be Lex Luthor or something. Like, are these the superheroes of the Legion of Superheroes? They have the big L, so you would think so. I guess these are the Legionnaires. But they look really evil. They legitimately just look like a group of supervillains. So I'm curious to see what they're doing with that and why these characters look so off-putting. Next up, we're getting a Superman Wonder Woman book. So I haven't seen a Superman Wonder Woman book since the New 52, when they were like trying to ship like Superman and Wonder Woman together. So that might be interesting. And looking at that outfit also makes me think that it's like John, like Superman's son, as Superman. And this Wonder Woman, I think this might be the new Brazilian Wonder Woman. So this is interesting. I wonder if they're supposed to like couple up, like if that's what they're implying. Because the other Superman Wonder Woman book was them like literally like, oh, we're in a relationship, and the book explores not only our superhero exploits, but the fact that we're like a couple. So fascinating. Superman versus Impervious Lex. The lamest book I've seen so far. I'm not saying I'm gonna read literally every future state book that comes out, but I couldn't care less about a book. It's a Lex Luthor book. He's not the most fascinating character in the world. Now we got the new Brazilian Wonder Woman. Now, what I think is cool about her lasso is that she has like these big, like gold balls at the end of each of that. She has big gold balls at each end of the lasso, so it's more like a bola. So it's almost like she has a giant bola of truth. So I think it's like a small change, but I do think it adds some extra flavor. Because now, when she uses it offensively, it's not just like a whip. She actually can like brute force, like smash stuff with like the gold ball at the end. At least that's what I imagine when seeing this. But I think this is a cool idea, for sure. And I do like the cover art. I actually have been digging all these covers, but this next cover I actually really vibe with. I love all the colors and how vibrant it looks. So we have this new Flash. I don't know who this new Flash is at all. We have what I imagine is Batman Next, who I guess we know that Batman Next isn't Nightwing because there's a Nightwing book. So we know it's not Nightwing. I know when they were talking about DC 5G, they were hinting at the idea that the new Batman was going to be a black Batman. We don't know if that's true or not, but if it is a black Batman, it might be Duke, aka Signal. He's currently like the daytime metahuman Batman who deals with like metahuman crime in Gotham, but he also patrols during the day where Batman patrols at night, and he has his own like special bat cave that he operates from. So it could be Signal. I think that'd be interesting. Especially since there's like a time skip involved, so Signal could just be old enough now to like take on the cowl. Plus Signal's color scheme is like black and yellow. Well, really his color scheme is yellow and black. And then this Batman's color scheme is black and yellow. So maybe he got older and he like inverted his color scheme. I think that would be cool. I don't really want it to be Luke Fox, aka Batwing, because Batwing's known for essentially being like Iron Man. Like, he's a genius and he understands tech and he's constantly upgrading his suit. And I don't really like the concept of him being stripped down and he's just Batman. Him being Batwing is cooler than him being Batman. So I hope it's not Luke Fox. I hope it is Duke. I think that would be interesting, especially since Duke's powers do allow him to do interesting detective work. Now in that upper right-hand corner, I'm pretty sure that's Teen Lantern, which is a character that Brian Michael Bendis came up with. But I think it's supposed to be Teen Lantern, but she's older now, and she's like now old enough to be on like the main Justice League team. So that's a cool idea. I'm interested in checking that out. We have Superboy, and I'll be honest, I can't tell which Superboy design is which character. I'm looking at him and I'm like, maybe he's John, maybe he's Connor. I guess when we read the article we'll learn more about it, but I have no idea which one it is. And then we have what looks like a female Aqualad, kind of character. I have no idea who that is. And you have all these worlds in the background, which normally is indicative of like the multiverse. So I'm curious if the Justice League in future state is kind of like Justice League Incarnate, where they like patrol the multiverse, because that actually would be a really cool idea. I hope that is what it is. But this seems like a pretty interesting lineup for a Justice League team. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquawoman. I'm curious if anyone's upset that like Aquawoman's on the team and not like Miss Martian but older, or like some other character. I'm hyped for her to be on the team. She looks cool. She kind of reminds me of Mira because she has like the red hair going on. But I'm just curious, when you think the Justice League, I do think Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern. I don't know who the next person should be, and I feel like depending on who you ask, you'll get different answers. But I'm not sure how many people would answer Aquaman. It would be like the next one you would list. So this is kind of interesting. Curious to see what they do with it. They're going to have a Green Lantern book. What's interesting is that this doesn't show like a new Green Lantern. Like it doesn't show like Teen Lantern on the cover of it or anything. It shows lanterns that we already are aware of. And it shows a lot of rings plotted in the earth, which I think is to imply a bunch of dead lanterns who have lost their rings. So I think it's kind of mysterious who this book is about, because it really could be about anybody. Just saying, like, this could be a Kyle Rayner book, as far as we know. Moving forward, we got Suicide Squad. Is this supposed to be like brainwashed versions of like the older characters? Like I don't understand who the point of view of the viewer is of this cover. Like, are we the Suicide Squad looking at like a futuristic Justice League that's about to like beat our ass? Or are they the Suicide Squad and they're coming after us? I'm not sure. This Aquaman cover is so bright and colorful. I actually really vibe with what I'm seeing here. I also really like Calderon rocking the orange, which I'm actually really surprised by. My favorite colors are red, white, blue, black, and he normally has a color scheme that has a lot of my favorite colors in it. So it's fascinating to see them take away one of my favorite colors from his design to make him look more like traditional Aquaman with the orange. And for me to be like, I almost fuck with it more. I actually almost like it more than the other design. I also like that they gave him the dread head. That's cool. I vibe with that. And it looks like he has a sidekick who's surfing on a stingray. The book looks fun. It looks inviting. It looks colorful. I might have to check out Aquaman for future state. Seems cool. So we got a Flash cover. I noticed that it's not showing the new Flash on the cover. It's showing Avery, who's the Flash of the Justice League of China. It's showing Jay Garrick. It's showing Max Mercury. It's showing Wally West, who looks evil and corrupted, and it looks like he's pulling off the mask of Barry Allen. So it sounds like Wally West Flash is about to be the bad guy of the Flash book, which I don't know how to feel about that, because they already made Wally West Flash the bad guy of Heroes in Crisis, and then they tried to redeem him in Flash Forward, and I felt like that was kind of working. And Wally's really important in death metal right now. It seemed like they were trying to like make Wally a hero again. So this corrupt looking Wally is, please don't make Wally the bad guy. It seemed like you were about to fix it, but it looks like you're about to not. So I feel a little hesitant about this new Flash run. We'll see. Yo, we got a Teen Titans book. Damn, I can't tell who all this is. I think in the back that's supposed to be Raven. Then we got Red Arrow, the female Red Arrow. We got who I think is Starfire. Crush, which is Lobo's daughter, I believe, and Nightwing. He's holding a Deathstroke mask. let me be straight with you guys real quick. I don't know how I feel about Teen Titans being this group of people, because we have Justice League now, and all the members of the Justice League are like the next generation of heroes. Why is the Teen Titans group not the next generation of heroes, and the old Teen Titans like the new Justice League? Like, this cover should be the cover for Justice League, and that Justice League cover should be the cover for like Teen Titans. Why is it that like Teen Lantern and Superman's son and this new Aquawoman and the new Batman and the new Wonder Woman, why are they the new Justice League? The Titans have been here the whole time. The Titans are essentially just like the Justice League in training almost. If you're gonna like initiate a new Justice League, it should just be these guys. So I find it kind of weird that it's not these guys. I don't know, that's just me. Moving on, it looks like we're going to get a Shazam book. It's the beginning and end of my thoughts on that. Swamp Thing is also getting a book. Beginning and end of my thoughts on that. Sure. Okay, so let's actually dive into the article. I spent a lot of time looking at all those covers. DC Future State. DC Future State gives fans a look at the future of the DC Universe this January. I'm sorry. So we're going to do this like flash forward into the DC Universe starting next year, like straight up just the beginning of next year. This is going to be wild. I'm curious if these are going to be digital first books, like if we'll be able to read all these on like readdccomics.com. That'd be hype. But let's keep going. An all-star lineup of writers and artists to introduce future DC heroes and terrifying new supervillains in this 2-month line-wide event. Okay, real quick. 2-month line-wide event. Should we care about this? You know, we've been burned out on stuff like Future's End, where DC is like, yo, we promise you, for real this time, this is like the real future of the DC universe. But like looking forward, we know that this is what the DC universe is going to become. So then they release a whole bunch of comics talking about the future of the DC universe, and then that future that they show you never comes to fruition. It's just like an alternate timeline somewhere in hyper time. So I'm disappointed that this is like a 2-month line-wide event. DC Future State should have just been just what it is now. I honestly thought that this announcement was going to be fuck Batman, fuck Detective Comics, fuck Superman, fuck Wonder Woman. Like, I thought it was going to be like all those books you were reading, they all are going to stop. We're going to jump like 5, 10, 15, 20 years into the future. And then all the stories are just going to take place in the future from that point forward. And then we're just going to tell like modern day stories or like older stories as like Elseworld stories. So you'll still be able to pick up comics that follow like what's Batman doing like in the modern day, what's Superman doing in the modern day, to kind of fill in the gaps between where we stop the line and where like DC Future State is. But the new status quo is it's just we're skipping to the future, we're aging everybody up, and this is just what it's about. But it's not that. So for 2 months, we're going to get a glimpse of the future of DC. What does that mean? What happens, like, if this is the real future of DC? What happens when we catch up to whenever the future is? Are you telling me that if this is, like, let's say 5 years in the future from now, are you saying in 2025, they're just going to pick up where Future State left off? And we're going to see where Future State continues? Is that what's going to happen? Are they going to do Future State for 2 months, and then we're going to start seeing DC books come out that are like, and we're leading into Future State. We're setting up the stuff that you're going to see in Future State. Or is this, again, just some weird alternate timeline thing? I'm only like a few sentences in, and my expectations have been completely flipped, and I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about it. Fans to discover a new status quo for their favorite superheroes and supervillains. It's weird to say a new status quo for something that's only 2 months long. Maybe it's like 2 months under the label of DC Future State. And maybe after those 2 months, all of these books will continue to be published, but they just won't say DC Future State anymore. Like the 2 months is just like, oh, this is the beginning where every book has it on the label, but then after that, the Flash book is still going to be about Future Flash, and the next Batman's still going to be released and everything. Here's to hoping. Let's keep reading. Burbank, Canada, October 15th, 2020. DC is starting off 2021 off with a bang, giving fans a glimpse into the futures, both near and far, full of current and new characters, as the publisher announced plans today for DC Future State, a 2-month line-wide event beginning in January. Through February 2021, the full title lineup will feature a combination of monthly and twice-monthly oversized anthologies, as well as a monthly schedule of miniseries and one-shots. Fascinating. So, some of them are going to come out... Wait, hold up, but this is only a 2-month event. So, the books that are monthly, we're literally only going to get 2 of. The books that are twice monthly, we're only going to get 4 of. And then we're going to get monthly schedule of mini-series and one-shots. A one-shot, of course, you're only going to get 1 of. How do you have a monthly mini-series just sounds like it's going to be 2 issues? What's the difference between the monthly mini-series and the books that come out like twice a month? Well, they said monthly and twice monthly oversized anthologies. Okay, so let me dial back. So the books that we're going to get 2 of and 4 of are specifically oversized anthologies. So they're going to be really big issues that tell a whole bunch of stories. So never mind. You're still getting a lot for that, depending on how big these oversized issues are and how many stories are inside of these oversized issues. So that's not bad. And then the monthly miniseries will literally be like, it's a 2-issue miniseries. And monthly one-shots, again, you only get 1 issue of a one-shot per thing. DC Future State spotlights the world's greatest superheroes in fresh new roles, with all new characters taking up their iconic mantles. Yep, that sounds a lot like 5G. DC Future State features an incredible array of creative talent, combining award-winning writers and artists with new voices from the worlds of TV, movies, and animation. In March 2021, the regular DC title lineup resumes, continuing existing storylines from 2020 and introducing new arcs for the year. I don't care. I don't like... We're just going back to normal, is what they're saying. They're saying that for 2 months we're going to take a glimpse into the future, and then we're going to just return to what we were doing before. Is 2 months really enough time for this? You know? Because if this isn't like a smash hit, if people don't really fuck with it, it just won't actually be the future. It'll just be like another like alternate universe. And I guess I would prefer if it just was an alternate universe the whole time. You know, instead of being like, this is the new status quo, we're giving you a glimpse of what the stories are going to build up to. What they should do is just be like, this is the new Earth like 55 or something. And on Earth 55, it's the next generation of heroes. And at least then I can be hyped for like crossovers between like Earth 55 and like Earth 0, and I could potentially see them in like future stories. A lot of times these like alternate future timelines are rarely used and just kind of abandoned. So I don't really like that, because that's what I think is going to happen. If this isn't a smash hit, it's just kind of go away. But if it was another Earth, I feel like they would keep using it like in the future, just in like little bits. But who knows? We'll see what happens. So, in DC Future State, the multiverse has been saved from the brink of destruction, but the triumph of DC's heroes has shaken loose the very fabric of time and space. The final chapter of Dark Knight's Death Metal, on sale January 5th, 2021, brings new life to DC's multiverse, kicking off this glimpse into the unwritten worlds of DC's future. The DC Universe has always been fertile ground for new and refreshing takes on our characters, and DC Future State definitely contributes to this legacy, said DC Executive Editor Mary Jobbins. When it's probably Marie Jobbins. When the event begins in January, some savvy readers will not only pick up on some of the breadcrumbs that have already been tossed out in our current titles, but they will also find new hints and clues to what's to come in 2021. Okay? We still don't know how far in the future this is supposed to take place. It's interesting that they're saying we're already putting down breadcrumbs for this glimpse into the future. Because at least it makes it sound like structured and planned a little bit. Like, hey, this is something we've been building up to, so it's not going to feel like it's coming out of left field. If you've already been reading DC Comics, then you'll know that, like, we're building off of what we're already doing. They're also kind of setting it up where they're like, it'll tie into the other things that are happening in 2021. So they're like, reading the line is a good thing because it'll build off of the stuff that you've already read, and it'll also get you prepared for the stuff that's going to come out afterwards. I guess. Only if you're telling the truth. That's the thing. Like, they could say, oh, we've been setting up all these breadcrumbs, but then there aren't actually all these breadcrumbs. They could say, and it's going to, like, tie into the new 2021 stuff. That may not necessarily happen either. I'm skeptical, but I'll keep going. I'll keep reading it. So let's see. A stellar array of writers and artists are on hand to deliver this unique look at beloved DC characters, including fan favorites such as Mariko Tamaki, Brian Michael Bendis, Gene Luen Yang, Joel Jones, Joshua Williamson. Joshua Williamson actually just finished his Flash run. He might be working on the new Flash book. Brian Michael Bendis, he's been on a whole bunch of books for DC. He might be working on the Superman books. He might be working on this new Justice League book since it has his character Teen Lantern in it, or at least someone who I think is Teen Lantern, and might actually be the Green Lantern from Green Lantern Far Sector, but I'm not sure. Let's see, Nicholas Scott, Cully Hammer, and John Timms, along with new voices such as award-winning screenwriter John Ridley from 12 Years a Slave, Brandon Vietti, who worked on Young Justice, AO, Megan Fitzmartin, who worked on Supernatural and DC Superhero Girls, Brandon Easton, who worked on Thundercats and Transformers War of Cybertron, Aletha Martinez, who worked on Represent, It's a Bird, L.L. McKinney, who worked on Nubia, Real One, Paul Sevenberg, who worked on Stargirl, and Sia Om, who worked on Lola XOXO, among others. Batman family. In this future, Gotham City is controlled by the Magistrate. This villainous regime has taken control of the city, now under constant surveillance. All mass vigilantes have been outlawed, and Batman has been killed. What? Batman's dead? I feel like that's not going to last long. So hold on. So does that mean that when I was looking at the next Batman next to that, like, replacement for Detective Comics, Dark Detective, you're telling me that Dark Detective isn't just about, like, old Batman? Are both books about next Batman? That doesn't seem right. This is interesting. But led by an all-new Batman, a new assembly of Gotham's Guardians rise to give hope to all those who lost it. Oversized Comics. Future State, The Next Batman, issues 1 through 4. So this is going to be one of those twice-a-month anthologies. The Next Batman by John Ridley, Nick Darrington, and Laura Braga. Outsiders by Brandon Thomas and Sumit Kumar. Arkham Knights by Paul Jenkins and Jack Herbert. Interesting, the Arkham Knights name. Batgirls by Vida Ayala and Anaki. Gotham City Sirens by Paul Sevenbergen and Emanuela Lupacino. Future State Dark Detective 1 through 4, another twice-a-month oversized anthology. You got Dark Detective by Mariko Tamaki and Dan Mora. Grifters, which I'm assuming is going to be like a team led by Grifter, by Matthew Rosenberg and Carmine Di Domenico, Red Hood by Joshua Williamson, and Giannis Milanogiannis. I did not expect Joshua Williamson to be working on the Red Hood book, but then again, I don't know who normally writes Red Hood. As far as I know, he like already is really familiar with the character and has done stuff with the character in the past, so shrug. Monthly miniseries. So we're gonna get Future State Batman Superman by Gene Lewin Young and Ben Oliver, Future State Catwoman by Ram V and Otto Schmidt, Future State Harley Quinn by Stephanie Phillips and Simone DeMeo, Future State Nightwing by Andrew Constant and Nicholas Scott, and Future State Robin Eternal by Megan Fitzmartin and Eddie Barrows. One thing that I didn't realize until just now, Damian on that cover, I guess, is older. He would have to be an older Damian for that to make sense. Because this is a time skip. Wait, hold on. We have a new Batman. And yeah, that does look like he's a little bit older, I would say. So we have a new Batman and an older Damian, but older Damian isn't new Batman. So Batman isn't Damian, and it isn't Nightwing. So it definitely is lending toward being one of the other Batmen. Whether that be like Azrael, or Luke Fox, or Batwing, or some other Batman. Seems like it would end up being one of those guys. It's still a mystery who it is. We're getting a Red Hood book too? So hold on, so if we're getting Red Hood, it probably isn't like Jason Todd. It probably isn't Damian Wayne. It probably isn't Dick Grayson. We don't know what Tim Drake's up to. It could be Tim Drake, I guess, as like a possible person. So Tim Drake, Luke Fox, Duke, like Duke Thomas could potentially be it. There are like plenty of options of who the next Batman could be. They cover up his face, which is interesting. So he has like the normal Batman cowl, but you can't see like his mouth and chin, which suggests to me that they're trying to make it like a secret, so you don't know who it is. I heard that for DC 5G, they were going to have a new Batman. He was going to be black, which makes me think this is going to be Duke Thomas or Luke Fox. But this isn't 5G, it's DC Future State, so who knows what it'll be. So the Superman family. Due to his involvement in an international crisis happening in the near future, Clark Kent has been rejected by Earth, causing him to focus his life-saving efforts outside of his adopted home. So Superman's been exiled. That's actually a really interesting concept. He travels to Warworld to rise through the ranks of gladiatorial combat in order to defeat Mongol with the help of some unlikely heroes. Excuse me. I'm sold on that. When they were like, Gotham's been taken over by the villain magistrate, and da-na-na-na-na, I honestly didn't care. The concept of Gotham being controlled by villains and superheroes being outlawed, isn't that already like overplayed now? So we recently had an event called City of Bane, where Bane took over Gotham, and then we also recently had an event called like Joker War, where Joker took over Gotham. It's supervillains take over Gotham all the time. That's just a thing now. There's nothing really special about doing a supervillain takes over Gotham event. That's just even like Batman Arkham Knight. The Arkham Knight took over Gotham. People can just take over Gotham. That's just the thing. I don't care. Superman being exiled from Earth and he has to battle like superpowered aliens on Warworld, and it's like a Superman tournament arc. You got me. You got me. Let's see this fucking Superman tournament arc. That's a great setup. I'll read that. Back in Metropolis, Clark's son John has taken on the mantle of Superman. After seeing the horrors that befell Gotham, he bottles Metropolis in order to keep it safe, putting him at odds with Supergirl. What the fuck? Okay, so it's not that like Brainiac is attacking and he bottles Metropolis. Superman sees that Gotham got taken over by villains, and to prevent Metropolis from getting taken over by villains, he bottles Metropolis. And as you see on the cover, he's like carrying Metropolis with him. So he's like, the only way I can guarantee Metropolis' safety is if I just have Metropolis with me at all times. Because he could technically put Metropolis in the Fortress of Solitude behind all these different alien security and alarm systems and be like, if anyone tries to mess with it, I have like all these contingencies to help protect and save Metropolis and to prevent it from being taken over by villains. It's interesting that it's like it puts him at odds with Supergirl for multiple reasons. For one, I was curious, why is it that Supergirl wasn't a member of the Justice League book? She doesn't fuck with Superman. Hey, so that makes sense. Also, hold on. Did you guys notice that they called her Supergirl? Is there a Supergirl and a Superwoman? Because keep in mind, when we were flipping through the titles, they had a Superwoman book. Yeah, Kara Zor-El Superwoman. Is the Supergirl that he's at odds with not Kara Zor-El Superwoman? Do we have like a new Supergirl that's going to get introduced in a similar way to how we have a new Batman? I just realized Supergirl's just not even on this cover in any form or fashion. So that's interesting. Superwoman is not on this cover in any form or fashion. Who knows? Got me. Okay. Connecting the two oversized Future State Superman titles, Shiloh Norman, the man known as Mr. Miracle, finds himself caught between the city he grew up in and the battle-torn planet that could be his downfall. Shiloh Norman, Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle's name is Scott Free. So do we have a new Mr. Miracle in Future State? That's kind of weird. Because isn't Mr. Miracle like a new god? Do we have new gods? The new gods now? Meanwhile, in the Amazon rainforest, Yara Flor is chosen to be the new Wonder Woman. Years later, the new Superman and Wonder Woman join forces to save their cities in a new superhero team-up, the likes of which the world has never seen. Okay, hold on. Future State takes place X number of years in the future. We don't know how far in the future it takes place, but clearly it's far enough for a lot of these younger characters to now be older characters. And then we're doing another time jump, going even further in the future, where you have Superman and Wonder Woman teaming up. When does the Justice League book take place? Is the Justice League book like during this time period where like Superman and Wonder Woman are teaming up? Is it earlier? Because Wonder Woman's on that team. They're making it sound like they're teaming up almost for like the first time or something. But this is interesting. Yeah, and they say meanwhile in the Amazon rainforest, as if to say like during all this Superman shit is when she's becoming Wonder Woman. So her origin story coincides with like Superman having the bottled city of Metropolis, fighting Supergirl or whatever. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on with this. So I would say all the Superman stuff to me sounds interesting, except the Mr. Miracle thing. I don't really care about that, to be honest. And the Wonder Woman thing feels weird to include in the Superman family setup. I don't know why there isn't like a Wonder Woman section where they talk about like, and here's what we're doing with Wonder Woman. It feels very tacked on to the end of the Superman family setup, so I don't know why it's like that. I would have preferred if Wonder Woman got a section. She's a member of the Trinity. She shouldn't be the tack on at the end of like a Superman family thing. Oversized comics. Future State Superman Metropolis number 1 through 2. Superman of Metropolis by Sean Lewis and John Timms. The Guardian by Sean Lewis and Cully Hamner. Mr. Miracle by Brandon Easton and Valentine De Landro. Future State Superman Worlds of War, issues 1 through 4. Definitely going to check that out. Superman Worlds of War by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Mikkel Janin. Midnighter by Becky Cloonan, Michael W. Conrad, and Gleb Melnikov. It's interesting that there's a Midnighter story in here. Feels a little out of place to me, I would say, but okay. I don't associate Midnighter with Superman, but maybe I should. I don't know. I didn't read the Midnighter series, but I heard he was heavily involved in Grayson. So that made me kind of associate Midnighter with like being like someone that Dick Grayson interacted with, and it made me think of him as being more of like a Batman character. A Black Racer by Jeremy Adams and Sia Black Racer is like the embodiment of death, and he's a speedster. On the speedster tier list, I think he's ranked the fifth fastest speedster, like on Joshua Williamson's tier list or whatever. So Superman's faster than him, and Reverse Flash is faster than him, and Wally West and Barry Allen are faster than him. But then Black Racer is essentially faster than everybody else. I don't know why Black Racer's getting a story in here. I guess because Superman's on Apokolips. Maybe he has to fight death. That'd be kind of cool. Mr. Miracle by Brandon Easton and Valentine Delandro. I think I may have already read that. My bad. Future State Immortal Wonder Woman, issues 1 and 2. Immortal Wonder Woman by Becky Cloonan, Michael W. Conrad, and Jen Bartel. Nubia by L.L. McKinney, Aletha E. Martinez, and Mark Morales. Monthly miniseries and one-shots. They have quite a few. Future State House of L by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Scott Godolewski. One shot on sale in February. Future State Kara Zor-El Superwoman by Margaret Bennett and Margaret Savage. I like that last name. Savage. Future State Legion of Superheroes by Brian Michael Bendis and Riley Rossmo. Future State Superman Wonder Woman by Dan Waters and Lila Del Duca. Future State Superman vs. Imperious Lex. Oh, I think I earlier said Impervious Lex, my bad. By Mark Russell and Steve Pooh. 3-issue series ending in March. 3-issue miniseries? This is supposed to be like a 2-month thing. How is this ending in March? It's like the only thing that's crossing the threshold so far. Future State Wonder Woman by Joel Jones. Justice League Family. A thread of great change runs through the Justice League heroes. A new league is built upon secret identities, even from each other. But an old and evolved enemy will use these secrets to try and overthrow the world. For the supernatural heroes of Justice League Dark, the very fabric of reality has shifted, and heroes are being hunted. For Flash, Shazam, and the Teen Titans, it all begins when the 4 Riders of the Apokolips unleash hell in a battle at Titans Academy. Barry Allen is cut off from the Speed Force. A famine-controlled Wally West may be beyond saving. A Billy Batson makes a deal with the devil that will change Shazam forever. Off-world, Jon Stewart and the remaining Green Lanterns are stranded in the shadow of a dead power battery. Jackson Hyde and Andy Curry are separated across the galaxy. Why are these Aquaman characters separated across the galaxy? And Amanda Waller executes her ultimate plan with a new but terrifyingly familiar Suicide Squad on Earth 3? At the end of time, Swamp Thing reveals its true intention, ruling supreme until a remnant of humanity launches a rebellion. And Black Adam looks to the past as the only way to save the future of the multiverse. Justice League Family is like, and now literally every other book. So a lot of the stuff isn't directly connected. But it sounds like the Justice League book is going to tie into Justice League Dark, and it's going to have a lot to do with secret identities and an old and evolved enemy who will try and use their secrets to overthrow the world. And the fabric of reality shifted, and here's a being hunted. That's so vague. It's a lot of vague stuff. I do like the concept of Titans Academy. Because what that makes me think is that the reason why the Teen Titans aren't the Justice League is because they're like the people who train people now. Like, they may explain that like this current Justice League was trained by the Titans because the Titans are now responsible for preparing the next generation. They were trained by the previous generation of heroes, but instead of them using that training to then be like, and now we're the new Justice League, they're like, we're the ones who are responsible for training the next Justice League. We're not the next Justice League, but we'll set up the next Justice League. That I think is a cool idea. I would love to see a book called Titans Academy that's just about the Titans training the next generation of heroes. I think that's a cool idea. The four riders of the apocalypse unleash hell. It's weird that like Flash, Shazam, and the Teen Titans, all their stories are connected. They all have to do with each other. I wouldn't have guessed that. Um, the Green Lantern's power battery is dead. Um, what about Teen Lantern or whoever the member of the Justice League is that is a female Lantern? Could be the Far Sector Lantern. I think it's Teen Lantern grown up. I don't know. Uh, but what about whatever she's using? I feel like if the power battery's dead, there are probably ways to fix it. But that's weird. Also, the Aquaman characters being separated in space is really weird. And Amanda Waller having a Suicide Squad made up of Earth 3 villains actually is a kind of interesting idea. Like getting like Ultraman and Owlman and like Superwoman from Earth 3 and making them the Suicide Squad, I think is actually a really cool premise. Swamp Thing doing stuff at the end of time, I actually kind of hate that. I went on a rant earlier today where I was talking about how I don't like that DC keeps using the beginning of time and the end of time in stories because they do it a lot, but they don't reference each other. Like, I read not a Mr. Terrific book, but a Terrifics book that had the team go to the end of time. And it's like, well, when they went to the end of time, why don't they see every other like person who goes to the end of time? Because it's just used a lot. I think it's something that sounds really dramatic. So they're like, oh, they're stranded at the end of time, or they're about to witness the end of everything. But if you keep having people witness the end of everything, and the whole point is that like there's nothing really left, so it's not like you're gonna have a whole bunch of people situated like really far away in the end of time. They're always like on Earth, the end of time or some shit. It's dumb. But I don't know how I feel about that. And Black Adam looking to the past as the only way to save the future of the multiverse. That sounds like setup. That actually sounds directly like, and then a Black Adam story that's going to set up the like future books of 2021. Black Adam's relevant. Which DC right now is doing a really big push for Black Adam. Black Adam's going to be a major figure in the new DC event that's happening, Endless Winter. That's going to be happening like this December. And it sounds like they're setting up for Black Adam to be really important at the like during DC Future State, but they're really setting up for him to be important like after DC Future State in modern day continuity. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on there. Oversized Comics, Future State Justice League number 1 and 2, Justice League by Joshua Williamson, and Robson Roca. So this is what Joshua Williamson's going to be working on. Fascinating. Justice League Dark by Ram V and Marcio Takara. Future State Green Lantern issues 1 and 2, Last Lanterns by Geoffrey Thorne and Tom Rainey. Tales of the Green Lantern Corps by Josie Campbell, Ryan Caddy, and Ernie Altbacher with Sammy Basri and Clayton Henry. Future State Suicide Squad issues 1 and 2, Suicide Squad by Robbie Thompson and Javi Fernandez, and Black Adam by Jeremy Adams and Fernando Pasarin. Monthly miniseries, Future State Aquaman by Brandon Thomas and Daniel Sempier. Future State The Flash by Brandon Vietti and Dale Eaglesham. So not Joshua Williamson on that Flash book, I'm surprised. Future State Teen Titans by Tim Sheridan and Rafa Sandoval. Future State Shazam by Tim Sheridan and Eduardo Pensica. Future State Swamp Thing by Ram V and Mike Perkins. So that's everything. That's everything that we have on DC Future State. I'm curious what tags they put here. DC Future State, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Nubia, The Flash, Green Lantern, John Stewart, Bruce Wayne, Legion of Superheroes, Harley Quinn, Justice League, John Ridley, Batman. It's interesting that they put John Ridley. That's a very specific tag. What does that take you to? Let's see. More Bat heroes fight against the Clown Prince of Crime. Batman miniseries by John Ridley and Nick Darrington confirmed for January 2021. Okay. Wait, hold on. They were already hinting at the whole, like, DC Future State stuff before with all these older John Ridley posts. Like, when they're like, he's gonna do a miniseries. Oh, he's gonna do a miniseries, Legacy of the Bat. See, this is interesting. Because I heard people talk about this. I heard people say that they thought that he was going to be doing Batman for 5G when they do, like, the time skip. But they're like, 5G is gone. So I guess he's just doing, like, a mini-series that they're going to make, like, a graphic novel or something. They're kind of right, but they're kind of wrong. Because 5G is just called Future State now. So we're totally just getting 5G. And he is actually working on, like, the 5G Future Batman thing. So that's interesting. That's a nice little breadcrumb that they've been setting up. But yeah, that's everything we know about DC Future State. I looked at all the covers. I looked at the entire write-up. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I don't like that it's 2 months. I wish that they were like, this is just the future of DC. Deal with it all year. Like, maybe if they did a year, I actually would feel a lot better. Like, even if they did it for a year and then they scrapped it, I still feel like that's a lot of stories. 2 months isn't not a lot of stories, but I don't know. It feels like something that they can easily sweep under the rug and say, we tried it, but we presented it as if it was the new status quo, but it wasn't. I guess one thing that I don't like about it, if this attracts like a bunch of new readers who really love this like new version of the Justice League and all these future stories and the twists and turns that are being set up in it, are those readers gonna fall off when suddenly the stories aren't about these characters? When you jump back to all these storylines that were set up in 2020 and then you're continuing them in 2021 with this big gap in the middle, are fans gonna like read Future State? Or are fans gonna just wait for the stories they were already reading to continue? Sure, some will be curious. I'm not saying that no one's gonna read Future State, but if I mainly was reading like Batman, and you're telling me that I'm not gonna get Batman until Future State is over, I could be like, see you in March. Oh, you told me Batman's dead in Future State? I could be like, I don't care. I'm going to wait for March where he's not dead, and I'm going to keep reading in March. You know, it could be like that. So it just feels weird. I'm interested. I want to see what happens. I want to see if it actually matters. But if it doesn't actually matter, I'm going to be, I guess, disappointed that it doesn't actually matter. Because Future State is sounding a lot like Future's End, and I don't want them to do that again. Please stop doing future events where it's not the real future. That grinds my gears. In that whole read-up, I don't think they said anything about like Robin Eternal, like what Robin Eternal would actually be about. I imagine it's Damian. Actually, I have a lot of thoughts on Damian. So you're telling me Batman's dead? They're convinced that Batman died. And this isn't like a weird battle for the cowl situation? Why is it that Nightwing's still just Nightwing? Why is it that Damian's still just Robin? Why aren't there like a whole bunch of Batmen and not just one new Batman? Maybe because the Batman's face is covered? It literally could be like multiple people are the new Batman. Ooh, Red X is supposed to be in it now. What team is he a part of? What book is he gonna appear in? I didn't see them mention Red X at all. There are a lot of unanswered questions. I'll check it out. I'll see how it is. Let me know your thoughts on DC Future State in the comment section below and on our Discord. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring the notification bell to be notified whenever we do these videos. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only, logging out. Peace. Chicka da gow.